Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Jerry,
I'm Ryan.
and this is Two Brothers Off Script. This week we're talking about being embarrassed.
It's a pretty big thing that a lot of people experience. I think on a
Sure.
fairly regular basis, and myself included. I'm sure you've got things that you're not ashamed about, but would be considered embarrassing. I mean, have you looked at yourself? No.
Yeah, well, that's the first one, right? It's like, how do you look and how do you think you look? How do people feel you look? Like right now, I've got black paint on my hands. I probably got dirt on my shirt or
But
my
it's
face or
the
something.
end of the day for you.
I've been
you're
working
not-
all day in the yard.
which is it's an achievement in a sense to be able to use your downtime to produce something other than just sitting on the couch and watching TV and stuff like that. But I mean that's something that no one really has to worry about, except for when you get comments about how grimy you'll look right before you go on.
Well,
on set.
or your weight,
Right.
Or we've talked about health and fitness, and a lot of us feel like, hey, I've been criticized about how I look in public, or I've been criticized, and that can be a huge range.
Mm-hmm.
It can be, I don't know how to dance well. I don't want to dance.
I've never
Right.
been a real dancer. I mean, I've been on the dance floor a few times. I came up with this weird stomp move I thought was kind of cool, but I was a dork, and I know it. But a few drinks and there you go. No, so I quit drinking a while ago to lose some weight.
How's it been going?
Pretty good. I've had a few, not slips. I think the thing that's helped me the most is I knew that I wasn't ever quitting drinking to begin with. I was just really like taking a long break so I could kind of refresh my liver or whatever and just lose the extra calories. So it's been going pretty good. I mean, shaving the beard, I haven't shaved since before I quit drinking, and like I was like, okay, you're actually look slimmer now just because of no beard, but also like I feel a lot lighter. I'm under 250 now, and I think I've weighed 250 since pretty much 17 years old.
That's great.
Yeah, so I feel like I've made some good progress, and that's just it. It was to feel better about myself, so I wouldn't be embarrassed in public. I've never really been embarrassed in public. I'm okay with socially awkward situations, but I still don't want to get up in front of people and give a speech. I still don't want to take my shirt off at the beach or something. And coming up to summer here, that might be, maybe I'll be able to say like, hey, check it out. I got to the point where I feel like I could take my shirt off.
It's interesting how we all feel about something that we're failing.
Right.
And I mean, being self-confident, taking charge of your own life, making decisions, not jumping on the bandwagon, like all of those things are connected to this idea of having self-esteem. But embarrassment is it's this other level, because you can be embarrassed about things that
No one else can see.
no one else can see, or you can be embarrassed only when someone else sees them.
Right. Or
Right.
you think someone's
Or you
watching,
think
even
somebody
though
else is
nobody
seeing.
is actually watching.
Right, like it's almost where we're judging ourselves through this mirror, and then there's these moments where you feel totally fine. To counterpoint, you feel totally fine about what just happened, and somebody looks at you and laughs at you,
Right.
or makes you the butt of the joke, and you're like, I don't get it. What did I do? I was just being normal.
It's
It's
worse,
so-
I
it's
think,
so
when
strange.
You try really hard sometimes to actually put on that, to be what you think everybody wants you to be or something, and you still don't achieve acceptance, and that leaves you feeling like, hey, what's worth the effort anymore.
So you mentioned how do you look without your shirt on, right? I feel embarrassed when I go to the gym. Like when I go to the YMCA, I feel embarrassed. Yes, I'm doing a positive thing for myself.
Do you even lift, bro?
Yes, I'm doing a positive thing to get better, but at the same time, in that I'm very aware of the guy running past me on the track.
Yeah.
I'm very aware of the guy doing pull-ups and push-ups. I'm very aware of the guy who's like obviously lifting a lot of weight.
Right.
And it's uncomfortable. And so in my desire to avoid embarrassment, and this is what's silly, to be healthier, I should pursue that.
Right.
Because it's the right thing to do. But in my desire to avoid feeling embarrassed, my own self-conscious, I'll say, I don't know.
So you'd skip a workout.
I skip,
just to avoid
I'll make up an
possible
excuse.
Embarrassment.
Yeah, I'll make up a good excuse. I feel tired.
I think that. So I went down there. I mean, I know the exact gym you're talking about. The Y. We were going there for quite a few months, and it was fine. But here's a tip for you: no one can beat you on the treadmill. Just can't happen. Only you can. No one will have a problem with you picking up a kettlebell in some weird way, because then they just think you're doing CrossFit, So it doesn't matter if you're successful or not. If you have a grimace on your face and you slam that weight down, it looks like you did it on purpose.
I guess I just feel like I mean, for me, body image is an issue. Like, I've always been self-conscious about how I felt like I looked. And fitness has always been a challenge for me. I mean, elementary school, I was last running all the time. I was last running. And so I think that it's absolutely possible to feel embarrassed by, like, honestly not being as good as everybody else.
Right. And it's sometimes when you have an audience and they're, you don't expect it, and it's like,
what? Are we talking about embarrassment?
Yeah, we're talking about embarrassment.
This is my sister Tina.
Sorry.
We're talking about embarrassment. Hi, Tina.
Hi. I just embarrassed myself.
You didn't know
wall.
the wall's going to fall over on you?
No.
It's built pretty solid.
You're the only person that's ever crashed an episode of filming Two Brothers Off Script, ever. But now you can say that you were in it. So what would you like to say about embarrassment?
Go with it.
When have you felt embarrassed? Besides just right now, 30 seconds ago.
Putting my butt through the wall. Probably today.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know.
You're too embarrassed to talk about it?
I don't care to talk about it.
Okay.
My feelings are hurt.
We'll talk later.
But that might be a good thing too, is to have someone to talk to about situations where you don't think that they're going to judge you. Even after the fact, you can explain it from your perspective. And I think that's what a lot of people don't get is how did they feel being the subject of the onlooker? Like you're just, you see somebody do something embarrassing and like they slip and fall in the store or something, and you say, "Oh, that was pretty funny," but
do you try to help them?
Do you try and help them, or do you just view that as a person who didn't achieve greatness in that moment, in a sense, and then you're going to let them forever be just a failure or an embarrassment to themselves, even though they may or may not be actually feeling embarrassed?
I think now a lot of times I feel like I almost always got one of my kids with me, and there's this issue of like talking out loud about having sympathy for people who make mistakes, publicly, to try to model that behavior for them, because
you don't want them to go around.
I don't want them to turn into little jerks.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's a lot of uncomfortable things that we go through in life and relationships and friendships and family. There's a lot of things that we go through in family. And the reality is that despite all that discomfort, we are better when we have close relationships. We're better when we are honest with people. We're better when we love on people. Yeah. We're just better off. And it's easy to be safe from embarrassment and alone.
But that person has to accept it too, though.
What person are you talking about?
Whoever we're just talking about.
But if you let somebody know that you saw them do something and you're trying to tell them, hey, don't feel embarrassed about
Do
that
you
thing.
tell a guy his fly is down?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes is the right answer, and that should be
Do
the
you-
poll. Answer in the comments below.
But
Whatever.
it's how
should
you
let
tell
somebody
someone.
know
Let somebody know.
that
If
they
you-
have something in their teeth.
In their
too.
teeth, right?
Do
Yeah.
you know how jacked up that is?
Do you want to? Do we need to get you a chair?
No.
Okay.
It's a long drive. It's a long drive.
We did have Daniel on one time.
So Leo?
Right, but that was Three Brothers off screen.
That was Three Brothers off script. I don't know. Well, Two Brothers off
I
script.
was trying to come up with some names for us, but it just nothing worked.
Special guest spot.
Yeah.
Special guest spot. Tina.
But no, you cannot tell somebody. You can't just walk up to somebody in a crowd and be the last person to show up, and then be the first person to point at one of them and say, "Hey, you're a subject of my attention, and there's something wrong with you." So you do it in a different way. You make your way around the side of the crowd. You get up next to that person. You say, "Hey, XYZ, bro. You know, check."
So
this out."
I think-
you don't have to. Or you can do the, hey, when you see somebody with a hanger,
You got a
know,
cliffhanger.
you got a cliffhanger or something like that. So it's just like you can subconsciously get somebody else to do it if you touch your nose. They'll touch their nose and they're like, "Oh, okay, I found it." And they'll get rid of it. No one just,
You just look at your buddy
or you
why
be
does
like,
that person keep doing
something,
that?
and then they just check themselves. But if you can do that in a subtle way and let people know,
It's better.
then they're gonna take care of the thing. But I had a 401k allocation meeting or something, and I talked to the guy, and he had like an eyelash hanging out right on the side of his nose, and all I could do is stare at it the whole time. I'm like, why do you have? What is that? What's going on? What 70%? Yeah, that's you
Just
gotta,
reach
you
over
gotta
and like,
think.
make a wish.
Yeah, no. So you can't do that sitting in a room solo with some guy. You can't just touch his face. Touch, it's like you
Like,
can't do that.
what?
You're
So
gonna get in trouble.
um,
I told you, but we're working in the yard all
well,
day.
I let him know after the fact. I was on my way out the room, and I said, "Hey, just to let you know, I don't know if you're gonna do a lot more of these things, but you got like a eyelash or something hanging out on your nose there." And he got it, and was like, "Oh,
I
thanks."
wonder how many people in that room were thinking the same thing.
But didn't say anything.
Nobody else said anything. It's leaving someone in a situation where you might think that person is going to be embarrassed about that situation if they knew it. If they were forced to acknowledge it during the confrontation of there's something wrong with you. I just want to let you know something's wrong with you. As opposed to, hey, I'm just letting you know for anyone else, this thing is happening right now and you can deal with it if you feel like it. I'm on the other way out and I'm
Right.
not judging you for it. But I think that's being kind. I think
I
that's,
agree.
I
agree. My thought is like there is a little bit too far, right? So if we go back to that time at the discussion at the gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
If somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, by the way, you're running incredibly slow," and we just like to let you, like we were over there having a discussion about it,
Right.
and it's embarrassing watching you. That's not the right way to approach that subject.
But that's also not a place that it actually happens that often.
It doesn't.
Actually,
People in the gym will typically leave you alone.
that's not true.
Huh?
That's not true. I'm there every day. That's not true.
Now,
Do people bother you at the
the
gym?
people
All the
the
time.
people that bother you, are they acting like they're there to help you?
No.
No, they just want to point out.
No,
So-
they just want to talk.
Oh, okay.
That's different.
I mean, if you're
That's
in a
different.
workout
No,
group
I
and
do.
someone
I
tells you to
help
lift
people.
more or something like that,
I
but
help people when I'm there.
you
I-
help people
I do. Yeah.
as a trainer or as just a motivational,
No,
Speaker
just like if
or-
I see someone like squats,
right?
form it's very important and it's key, and a lot of people they do it incorrectly, and so I'll just give them a little tip. Hey, lean back on your heels. If you can't wiggle your toes, then you're not doing it properly. So,
Do they generally receive that well?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Huh?
I'm not-
Or
I'm
is
not
it
like,
or is
dude,
it the
what's up?
last
You're-
the last
You-
set and then
you
they
don't say,
drop the
"Do you
bar and
even
walk
lift?"
away?
Do you even lift? Do you even lift? So I guess I think it's a good thing to find out when you have a potentially embarrassing thing going on. I think there's a huge risk though. Like now I think back to my own life again, to my children. I avoided things
Honestly,
like
I'm not sure if you're even in frame. You might be too tall for this. Your head's been cut off this entire time. I just wanted to let you know.
Great.
Um,
That's embarrassing.
this is not about you.
Special guest spot. This is
I'm not that.
You're gonna be in a frame, I think.
I know.
mostly. I think
Mostly.
that we're cut off pretty
Look,
close above
I
our
gotta
head.
do wall sits, but this wall's not very sturdy, so like
So I avoided the school dance when I was in high school
Mhm.
and middle school like the plague.
Is
I
it
was-
you
I
never
was
you never asked
embarrassed.
anybody out.
I was
Never-
embarrassed with the idea of asking somebody to go.
Mhm.
The 2 times that I ever went to a dance, I was embarrassed to be there.
Right.
I felt like I didn't look good. I didn't have the right clothes. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I didn't know what was expected because I was just not socially comfortable in that situation. And so that fear of an unknown situation, I don't know what that was. That fear of an unknown situation. We got all kinds of stuff going on.
was that your phone?
no, my phone.
It might be.
You should be live tweeting this, by the way.
I'm gonna put on Instagram right now.
You want to swing around to the other side of the camera there and check and see if it's still recording? Because if that notified there, then we lose recording every once in a while when that happens.
It's recording.
All right.
Awesome.
Here's 17
So
minutes.
a real time status
It
update.
might be good to have a
A camera person.
It might have been in frame.
yeah.
Maybe like.
So I think that the fear of being embarrassed in that situation led me to the wrong choice.
Mhm.
I think that was the wrong choice to not step out of my comfort zone in that situation.
Do you think it would
Not
have
to-
led you a different path in life entirely? Like
Uh,
I've gotten to the point.
Sure.
There's the you got to get the 99 slaps thing or something. You know, like 99 rejections and then one says yes, and then that's how you figure out to get over rejection. Like I asked people. I asked a lot of girls, and nobody ever went. So, which is worse, never having asked and never knowing that you were going to be rejected, or being rejected a bunch?
So my pitch is that being rejected is better.
Having
Because-
tried.
Having tried, because I think that does have the chance to actually build character. I think of avoiding the embarrassment, avoiding the conflict, avoiding the chance, doesn't teach you anything.
Right.
Right? When we go through life and we're like, hey, I'm uncomfortable right now, this sucks, or I'm going to go into this situation, I'm going to be uncomfortable. And so we don't step forward.
Mm-hmm.
We are not going to learn something. Right? Stress makes change happen. Sometimes that change is good, sometimes that change is bad. But stress is what makes a change happen in life.
True.
For all living things. And we just have to step more into places where we're making decisions based on, like I said, like our values. Where I'm trying to teach my kids, hey, don't run around the back of the cash register and pretend to be like Hannah did the other day at Lowe's. Like she was like typing on the guy's keyboard and ringing me up for some crap, and I'm embarrassed to her. Don't do that. I'm like, this is not my child. I just picked this child up on the side of the road. I don't even know.
But the checker.
You can keep
the
her.
checker embarrassed.
The checker was not necessarily embarrassed by what had happened. The checker was, I think, though, frustrated in his work because he's trying to do this work, and all of a sudden he's got this 6-year-old girl who's cute and crazy.
Yeah.
We were at the.
Jerry, wait. I have a story that you have to tell. That's
You're not on
embarrassing.
camera.
Oh, yeah.
You're not on camera.
It's
Listen.
okay. They only got this half of me.
Listen.
Most of the
Remember
video.
when you were at work and you got a certain picture texted to you and the Chinese guy looked at your phone?
Oh, that was a good pick. That was a good.
That's
Oh, that was you.
me and Tina.
Yeah.
It
So,
probably was me.
I'll tell this story because this was embarrassing. This was professionally embarrassing.
That was
Okay. I'm at a business dinner in Colorado for work. My wife is over here laughing at me. And these two yokers were at dinner somewhere. And I get this text, right? Hey, how's your night going? How's dinner? Everything's great. And I text back, and then I was talking to the guy about my kids, and he was like really impressed. I had all these kids. So I'm showing him
Yeah.
I'm showing him the picture of my children,
Right.
and they had like concocted small smoky sandwiches into an obscene picture,
You can say the word penis. I mean, we're all adults here.
and
Don't
they.
forget the shrimps.
I
You
don't.
know, the
I don't
sides.
remember. Anyway, they had done some stuff to make an explicit picture, and bloop, it pops up, and he looks at it. This is the thing. He's holding my phone. This thing pops up. He's looking at it, and he goes, "I think this is for you."
Yeah,
And
'cause
hands
we
it
all,
back.
We all want
In the middle.
pics coming our way. That's,
Well, it could've
So
been- it could've been a
life
worse
is
picture.
embarrassing sometimes. We laughed it off. Sometimes
We got in
shooting.
trouble.
Sometimes shooting a video is hard. We laughed it off. Embarrassment shouldn't stop you from living life.
And making explicit pictures out of crawdads and sausages. Oh, I think there was potatoes. The potatoes,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, we
and the
had
crab was
potatoes.
pinching the sauce.
Yes,
thanks
we're
for
not
watching,
here.
everybody. This has been another episode of Two Brothers Off Script with special guest.
Tina
And we're gonna
and me,
off camera.
disembodied me off camera. Guys, we appreciate you for watching. Check us out on Twitter. We're posting shows as they upload.
Yeah, they're coming up on Twitter at Two Bros Off Script, since we can't put brothers
It's too long.
too long. So at Two Bros Off Script, and you'll get the notification when new videos are uploaded. And as we talked about, there's a lot of other videos on here, so you can sit through the playlist and watch them, or just subscribe, and we'll keep sending them to you. So thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.